Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Agnanatimirandasya Gyananjana Salakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Sri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Darati Svaparantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yutapata Sri Gurun Vaishnavamscha श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणरघुनाथन्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितंश्च हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कान्ता राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तु ते तप्त कांचन गौरंगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वंशाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानं पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः नमः विष्णुपदाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणि प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवारि पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासरि गौरभक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे Nibo. Okay, now we can start. So today we read the Nectar of Instruction. This is continuing from text number 2. Hare Krishna, Shubham Prabhu, Dandat Pranam, Jai Shri Prabhupada.
हरे कृष्ण शुभम प्रभु दंडवत प्रणाम जय श्री प्रभुपाद।
In
Hare Krishna Prabhu Dandavat Pranam Jai Sri Prabhupada.
Jai. Thank you for joining, Prabhu. In Srimad Bhagavatam 129, Sri Sutta Goswami describes the proper human dharma in this way. Dharmasya hyapavargasya Dharmasya hyapavargyasya nartorthayopakalpate nartasya dharmaikantasya kamo labhaya hi smrita. All occupational engagements, dharma, are certainly meant for ultimate liberation. They should never be performed for material gain. Furthermore, one who is engaged in the ultimate occupational service, dharma, should never use material gain to cultivate sense gratification. Hmm. The first step in human civilization consists of occupational engagements performed according to the scriptural injunctions. The higher intelligence of a human being should be trained to understand basic dharma. In human society, there are various religious conceptions characterized as Hindu, Christian, Hebrew, Mohammedan, Buddhist, and so on. For without religion, human society is no better than animal society. As stated above, dharmasya pavargasya narto ritayo pakalpate. Religion is meant for attaining emancipation, not for getting bread. So what did this mean? Oh, it's not working. Oh, dictionary is not working today.
Is like liberate yourself, from get elevated.
Yes, Prabhu. Okay, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Oh, of course. Yes, Prabhu, now you know English even better than anyone else. You used to say, I don't know English. I remember this.
Oh, it's okay, some word we use a lot. Srila Prabhupada also use a lot, so
Yes, Prabhu.
I'm used to it now.
Yes, Prabhu. Yeah, this is how you learn by hearing Prabhupada. Where were we? Where is the point? I lost it.
You were after emancipation, not for getting bread. You were about to read the next sometimes.
Oh, it's here. Yes, Prabhu. My eyes
Yes.
Sometimes human society manufactures a system of so-called religion aimed at material advancement, but that is far from the purpose of true Dharma. Religion entails understanding the laws of God because the proper execution of these laws ultimately leads one out of material entanglement. That is the true purpose of religion. Unfortunately, people accept religion for material prosperity because of atyahara or an excessive desire for such prosperity. True religion, however, instructs people to be satisfied with the bare necessities of life while cultivating Krishna consciousness. Even though we require economic development, true religion allows it only for supplying the bare necessities of material existence. Jivasya tattva jignasa, the real purpose of life is to inquire about the absolute truth. If our endeavor, prayasa, is not to inquire about the absolute truth, we will simply increase our endeavor to satisfy our artificial needs. A spiritual aspirant should avoid mundane endeavor. Another impediment is prajalpa, unnecessary talking. When we mix with few friends, we immediately begin unnecessary talking, sounding like croaking toads. If we must talk, we should talk about Krishna consciousness movement. Those outside of the Krishna consciousness movement are interested in reading heaps of newspapers, magazines, and novels, solving crossword puzzles, and doing many other nonsensical things. In this fashion, people simply waste their valuable time and energy. In the Western countries, old men retired from active life play cards, fish, watch television, and debate about useless social political schemes. All these and other frivolous activities are included in the Prajalpa category. Intelligent persons interested in Krishna consciousness should never take part in such activities. Jana Sangha refers to association with persons not interested in Krishna consciousness. One should strictly avoid such association. Srila Narottam Das Thakur has therefore advised us to live only in the association of Krishna conscious devotees, Bhakta Sanevas. One should always engage in the service of the Lord in the association of the Lord's devotees. Association with those engaged in a similar line of business is very conducive to advancement in that business. Consequently, materialistic persons from various associations and form various associations and clubs to enhance their endeavors. For example, in the business world, we find such institutions as the Stock Exchange and Chamber of Commerce. Similarly, we have established the Internal Society for Krishna Consciousness to give people an opportunity to associate with those who have not forgotten Krishna. The spiritual association offered by our ISKCON movement is increasing day by day. Many people from different parts of the world are joining this society to awaken their dormant Krishna consciousness. Hmm. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur writes in his Anuvrita commentary that too much endeavor to acquire knowledge on the part of mental speculators or dry philosophers falls within the category of atyahara, collecting more than needed. According to Srimad Bhagavatam, the endeavor of philosophical speculators to write volumes of books on dry philosophy devoid of Krishna consciousness is entirely futile. The work of karmis who write volumes of books on economic development also falls within the category of atyahara. Similarly, those who have no desire for Krishna consciousness and who are simply interested in possessing more and more material things, either in the shape of scientific knowledge or monetary gain, are all included under the control of atyahara. Karmis labor to accumulate more and more money for future generations, only because they do not know their future position. Interested only in getting more and more money for their sons and grandsons, such foolish persons do not even know what their position is going to be in the next life. There are many incidences that illustrate this point. Once a great karmi accumulated a vast fortune for his sons and grandsons, but later, according to his karma, he took his birth in the cobbler's house located near the building which in his previous life he had constructed for his children. It so happened that when this very cobbler came to his former house, his former sons and grandsons beat him with shoes. Unless the karmis and jnanis become interested in Krishna consciousness, they will simply continue to waste their life in fruitless activities. Accepting some of the scriptural rules and regulations for immediate benefit as utilitarians advocate is called niyama agraha, and neglecting the rules and regulations of shastras, which are meant for spiritual development, is called niyama agraha. The word agraha means eagerness to accept, and agraha means failure to accept. By the addition of either of these two words to the word niyama, rules and regulations, the word niyamagraha is formed. This niyamagraha has a twofold meaning that is understood according to the particular combination of words. Those interested in Krishna consciousness should not be eager to accept rules and regulations for economic advancement, yet they should very faithfully accept scriptural rules and regulations for the advancement of Krishna consciousness. They should strictly follow the regulative principles by avoiding illicit sex, meat eating, gambling, and intoxication. One should also avoid association with Mayavadis, who simply blaspheme Vaishnavas, devotees, Muktikamis, who are interested in material happiness, Muktikamis, who desire liberation by merging in the existence of the formless absolute Brahman, and the Siddhikamis, who desire the perfection of mystic yoga practice, are classified as Atyaharis. To associate with such persons is not at all desirable. Desire desires to expand the mind by perfecting mystic yoga, merging in the existence of Brahman, or attaining whimsical material prosperity are all included within the category of greed, lolya. All attempts to acquire such material benefits or so-called spiritual advancement are impediments on the path of Krishna consciousness. Modern warfare waged between capitalists and communists is due to their avoiding the advice of Srila Rupa Goswami regarding Adyahara. Modern capitalists accumulate more wealth than necessary, and the communists, envious of their prosperity, want to nationalize all wealth and property. Unfortunately, the communists do not know how to solve the problem of wealth and its distribution. Consequently, when the wealth of the capitalist falls into the hand of the communists, no solution results. Opposed to these two philosophies, the Krishna conscious ideology states that all wealth belongs to Krishna. Thus, unless all wealth comes under the administration of Krishna, there can be no solution to the economic problem of mankind. Nothing can be solved by placing wealth in the hands of the communist or the capitalist. If $100 bill is lying on the street, someone may pick it up and put it in his pocket. Such a man is not honest. Another man may see the money and decide to let it remain there. Although thinking that he should not touch another's property. Although the second man does not steal the money for his own purposes, he is aware of its proper use. The third man who sees the $100 bill may pick it up, find the man who lost it, and deliver it to him. This man does not steal the money to spend for himself, nor does he neglect it and let it lie in the street, but taking it and delivering it to the man who has lost it, this man is both honest and wise. Simply transferring wealth from capitalists to communists cannot solve the problem of modern politics, for it has been demonstrated that when a communist gets money, he uses it for his own sense gratification. The wealth of the world actually belongs to Krishna, and every living entity, man and animal, has the birthright to use God's property for his maintenance. When one takes more than his maintenance requires, be he a capitalist or communist, he is a thief, and as such he is liable to be punished by the laws of nature. This wealth of the world should be used for the welfare of all living entities, for that is the plan of Mother Nature. Everyone has the right to live by utilizing the wealth of the Lord. When people learn the art of scientifically utilizing the Lord's property, they will no longer encroach upon one another's rights. Then an ideal society can be formed. The basic principle for such a spiritual society is stated in the first mantra of Sri Upanishad: Isha vasyamidam sarvam yatkincha jagatyam jagattena tyakjena bunjita magrada kasyas viddanam. Everything animate or inanimate that is within the universe is controlled and owned by the Lord. One should therefore accept only those things necessary for himself which are set aside as his quota, and should not accept other things, knowing well to whom they belong. Krishna consciousness devotees know very well that this material world is designed by the complete arrangement of the Lord to fulfill all the necessities of the life for all living beings, without their having to encroach upon the life of rights of one another. This complete arrangement affords the proper quota of wealth for everyone according to his real needs, and thus everyone may live peacefully according to the principle of plain living and high thinking. Unfortunately, materialists who have neither faith in the plan of God nor any aspiration for higher spiritual development misuse their God given intelligence only to augment their material possessions. They devise many systems, such as capitalism and materialistic communism, to advance their material position. They are not interested in the laws of God or in a higher goal. Always anxious to fulfill their unlimited desires for self gratification, they are conspicuous by their ability to exploit their fellow living beings. When human society gives up these elementary faults enumerated by Srila Rupa Goswami, Atyahara, etc., all enmity will cease between man and animals, capitalist, communist, and so forth. In addition, even between man and animals, the bear and tigers also they won't attack the animals. They will be happy.
Yeah. Yes, Prabhu.
This is really nice point. In addition, all problems of economic or political maladjustment and instability will be solved. This pure consciousness is awakened by the proper spiritual education and practice offered scientifically by the Krishna consciousness movement. This Krishna consciousness movement offers a spiritual community that can bring about a peaceful condition in the world. Every intelligent man should purify his consciousness and rid himself of the above mentioned six hindrances to devotional service by taking wholehearted shelter of this Krishna consciousness movement. Haribo, Jai Shila Prabhupada. Okay, we read the translation one more because we forgot it. One's devotional service is spoiled when he becomes too entangled in the following six activities: eating more than necessary or collecting more funds than required. 2. Over endeavoring for mundane things that are very difficult to obtain. Number 3. Talking unnecessarily about mundane subject matters. 4. Practicing the scriptural rules and regulations only for the sake of following them and not for the sake of spiritual advancement, or rejecting the rules and regulations of the scriptures and working independently or whimsically. 5. Associating with worldly minded persons who are not interested in Krishna consciousness. And 6. Being greedy for mundane achievements. Haribol. Okay, who wants to read the next one? Now Pranjal
Can
Prabhu.
I read?
Yes, Prabhu, from text number 3. And now Pranjal Prabhu will be the scrolling person. Haribol.
Okay, next. उत्साह निश्चयात् धैर्यात् तत्तत्कर्म प्रवर्तनात् संगत्यागात् सतो वृत्ते षड्भिर्भक्ति प्रसिद्ध्यति. Utsahat by enthusiasm, Nishchayat by confidence, Dhairyat by patience, Tat Tat Karma various activities favorable for devotional service, Pravartanat by performing, Sangatyagat by giving up the association of non-devotees, Sata of the great previous acharyas, Vritte by following in the footsteps, Sadbhi by these six, Bhakti devotional service, Prasiddhyati advances or becomes successful. Translation: there are six principles favorable to the execution of pure devotional service. One is being enthusiastic. Second is endeavoring with confidence. Third is being patient. Fourth is acting according to regulative principles such as Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Smaranam. Hearing, chanting, and remembering Krishna. Fifth is abandoning the association of non-devotees. And sixth, following in the footsteps of the previous acharyas. These six principles undoubtedly assure the complete success of pure devotional service. Purport: devotional service is not a matter of sentimental speculation or imaginative ecstasy. Its substance is practical activity. Srila Rupa Goswami, in his Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu 1.1.11, has defined devotional service as follows: Anya Bhilashita Shunyam Jnana Karmadi Anavritam Anukulyena Krishnanu Shilanam Bhaktiruttama. Sisimadhya 19 167. Uttama Bhakti, or unalloyed devotion unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, involves the rendering of devotional service in a way that is favorable to the Lord. This devotional service should be free from any extraneous motive and devoid of fruitive karma, impersonal jnana, and all other selfish desires. Bhakti is a sort of cultivation. As soon as we say cultivation, we must refer to activity. Cultivation of spirituality does not mean sitting down idly for meditation, as some pseudo yogis teach. Such idle meditation may be good for those who have no information of devotional service, and for this reason, it is sometimes recommended as a way to check distracting materialistic activities. Meditation means stopping all nonsensical activities, at least for the time being. Devotional service, however, not only puts an end to all nonsensical mundane activities, but also engages one in meaningful devotional activities. Sri Prahlad Maharaj recommends Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu Smaranam Padasevanam Archanam Vandanam Dasyam Sakhyam Atmanivedanam in Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 7, Chapter 5, verse 23. The 9 processes of devotional service are as follows: hearing the name and glories of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, chanting his glories, remembering the Lord, serving the Lord's feet, worshipping the deity, offering obeisances unto the Lord, acting as the Lord's servant, making friends with the Lord, and surrendering oneself fully to the Lord. Shravanam, or hearing, is the first step in acquiring transcendental knowledge. One should not give oral reception to unauthorized persons, but should approach the proper person as recommended in Bhagavad Gita 4:34. Tadvidi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadekshanti te jnanam jnaninas. Just try to learn the truth by approaching a spiritual master. Inquire from him submissively and render service unto him. The self-realized soul can impart knowledge unto you because he has seen the truth. It is further recommended in Mukunda Upanishad, Tad Vigyanartham Sa Gurum Evabhigachet in Mukunda Upanishad 1 to 12. To understand that transcendental science, one must approach a bona fide spiritual master. Thus, okay. Thus, this method of submissively receiving transcendental confidential knowledge is not merely based on mental speculation. In this regard, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told Rupa Goswami, ब्रह्मांड भ्रमित कोनो भाग्यवान जीव Guru Krishna Prasade Pai Bhakti Lata Bij. In the course of traversing the universal creation of Brahma, some fortunate soul may receive the seed of Bhakti Lata, the creeper of devotional service. This is all by the grace of Guru and Krishna. Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela 19:151. The material world is a place of confinement for the living entities who are by nature anandamaya, pleasure seeking. They actually want to be free from the confinement of this material, of this world of conditional happiness. But not knowing the process of liberation, they are bound to transmigrate from one species of life to another and from one planet to another. In this way, the living entities are wandering throughout the material universe. When by good fortune one comes in contact with the pure devotee and hears from him patiently, one begins to follow the path of devotional service. Such an opportunity is offered to a person who is sincere. The International Society for Krishna Consciousness is giving such a chance to humanity at large. If by fortune one takes the If by fortune one takes advantage of this opportunity to engage in devotional service, the path of liberation immediately opens. One should accept this opportunity to return home, back to Godhead, very enthusiastically. Without enthusiasm, one cannot be successful. Even in the material world, one has to be very enthusiastic in his particular field of activity in order to become successful. A student, businessman, artist, or anyone else who wants success in his line must be enthusiastic. Similarly, one has to be very enthusiastic in devotional service. Enthusiasm means action, but action for whom? The answer is that one should always act for Krishna. Krishna artha khila cheshta, bhakti rasamrita sindhu. In all phases of life, one has to perform devotional activities under the direction of the spiritual master in order to attain perfection in bhakti yoga. It is not that one has to confine or narrow one's activities. Krishna is all pervading. Hari Bol, Hare Krishna Prabhu. Jai Shri Prabhupada. Therefore, nothing is independent of Krishna, as Krishna himself states in Bhagavad Gita 9:4. Maya tatam idam sarvam jagadavyaktamurtina matsthani sarvabhutani nacha hamteshvavasthita. By me, in my unmanifested form, this entire universe is pervaded. All beings are in me, but I am not in them. Under the direction of the bona fide spiritual master, one has to make everything favorable for Krishna's service. For example, at present, we are using a dictaphone. The materialist who invented this machine intended it for businessmen or writers of mundane subject matters. He certainly never thought of using the dictaphone in God's service. But we are using this dictaphone to write Krishna conscious literature. Of course, the manufacture of the dictaphone is wholly within the energy of Krishna. All the parts of the instrument, including the electronic functions, are made from different combinations and interactions of five basic types of material energy, namely Bhumi, Jala, Agni, Vayu, and Akash. The inventor used his brain to make this complicated machine, and his brain, as well as the ingredients, were supplied by Krishna. According to the statement of Krishna, Matsthani Sarva Bhutani. Everything is depending on my energy. Thus, the devotee can understand that since nothing is independent of Krishna's energy, everything should be dovetailed in his service. Endeavor executed with intelligence in Krishna consciousness is called utsaha or enthusiasm. The devotees find the correct means by which everything can be utilized in the service of the Lord. Nirbandha Krishna Sambandhe Yuktam Vairagam Uchyate. The execution of devotional service is not a matter of idle meditation, but practical action in the foreground of spiritual life. These activities must be executed with patience. One should not be impatient in Krishna consciousness. Indeed, this Krishna consciousness movement was started single handedly, and in the beginning there was no response. But because we continued to execute our devotional activities with patience, people gradually began to understand the importance of this movement, and now they are eagerly participating. One should not be impatient in discharging devotional service, but should take instructions from the spiritual master and execute them with patience, depending on the mercy of Guru and Krishna. The successful execution of Krishna conscious activities requires both patience and confidence. A newly married girl naturally expects offspring from her husband, but she cannot expect to have them immediately after marriage. Of course, as soon as she is married, she can attempt to get a child, but she must surrender to her husband, confident that her child will develop and be born in due time. Similarly, in devotional service, surrender means that one has to become confident. The devotee thinks, Avashya Rakshive Krishna. Krishna will surely protect me and give me help for the successful execution of devotional service. This is called confidence. As already explained, one should not be idle, but should be very enthusiastic about executing the regulative principles. Tat tat karma pravartana. Neglect of the regulative principles will destroy devotional service. In this Krishna consciousness movement, there are four basic regulative principles forbidding illicit sex, meat eating, gambling, and intoxication. A devotee must be very enthusiastic about following these principles. If he becomes slack in following any of them, his progress will certainly be checked. Srila Rupa Goswami therefore recommends Tatat Karma Pravartanat. One must strictly follow the regulative principles of Vaidhi Bhakti. In addition to these four prohibitions, Yama, there are positive regulative principles, Niyama, such as the daily chanting of 16 rounds on Japamala beads. These regulative activities must be faithfully performed with enthusiasm. This is called Tattat Karma Pravartana or varied engagement in devotional service. Furthermore, in order to be successful in devotional service, one must give up the association of undesirable people. This includes karmis, gyanis, yogis, and other non-devotees. Once, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was asked by one of his householder devotees about the general principles of Vaishnavism as well as the general routine activities of the Vaishnava. And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu immediately replied, Asat Sangatyaga, A Vaishnavachar. Characteristically, a Vaishnava is one who gives up the association of worldly people or non-devotees. Sri Narottam Das Thakur has therefore recommended Tadera Charana Shevi Bhakta Shanivas. One has to live in the company of pure devotees and execute the regulative principles laid down by the previous acharyas, the six Goswamis, namely Sri Rupa Goswami, Sri Sanatan Goswami, Sri Jiva Goswami, Sri Raghunath Das Goswami, Sri Gopal Bhatta Goswami, and Sri Raghunath Bhatta Goswami. If one lives in the association of devotees, there is little chance of associating with non-devotees. The International Society for Krishna Consciousness is opening many centers just to invite people to live in the company of devotees and practice the regulative principles of spiritual life. Devotional service means transcendental activities. On the transcendental platform, there is no contamination by the three modes of material nature. This is called Vishuddha Sattva, the platform of pure goodness, or goodness free from contamination by the qualities of passion and ignorance. In this Krishna consciousness movement, we require everyone to rise early in the morning by 4 a.m. and attend Mangala Aarti or morning worship, then read Srimad Bhagavatam, perform Kirtan, and so forth. Thus, we hold continuous activities in devotional service 24 hours. This is called Satovritti, 24 hours daily. This is called Satovritti, or following in the footsteps of the previous acharyas, who expertly filled every moment of time with Krishna conscious activities. If one strictly follows the advice given in this verse by Srila Rupa Goswami, namely being enthusiastic, being confident, being patient, giving up the association of unwanted persons, following the regulative principles, and remaining in the association of devotees, one is sure to advance in devotional service. In this regard, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur remarks that cultivation of knowledge by philosophical speculation, the collection of mundane opulence by the advancement of fruitive activities, and the desire for yoga siddhis, material perfections, are all contrary to the principles of devotional service. One has to become thoroughly callous to such non-permanent activities and turn his intention instead to the regulative principles of devotional service. According to Bhagavad Gita 269, Ya nisha sarva bhutanam tashyam jagrati sanyami yashyam jagrati bhutani sa nisha pashyato mune. What is night for all beings is the time of awakening for the self-controlled, and the time of awakening for all beings is night for the introspective sage. Engagement in the devotional service of the Lord is the life and soul of the living entity. It is the desired goal and supreme perfection of human life. One has to become confident about this, and one also has to be confident that all activities other than devotional service, such as mental speculation, fruitive work, or mystic endeavor, will never yield any enduring benefit. Complete confidence in the path of devotional service will enable one to attain his desired goal, but attempting to follow other paths will only succeed in making one restless. In the seventh canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam, it is stated, one must be calmly convinced that those who have given up devotional service to engage in severe austerities for other purposes are not purified in their minds, despite their advanced austerities, because they have no information of the transcendental loving service of the Lord. It is further stated in the seventh canto. Although mental speculators and fruitive actors may perform great austerities and penances, they still fall down because they do not have the information about the lotus feet of the Lord. The devotees of the Lord, however, never fall down. In Bhagavad Gita 9:31, the Supreme Personality of Godhead assures Arjuna, Kaunteya pratijanihi name bhakta pranashyati. O son of Kunti, declare it boldly that my devotee never perishes. Again in Bhagavad Gita 2:40, Krishna says, Neha Vikrama Nashosti Pratyavayo na vidyate swalpamapi yasya dharmasya trayate mahato bhayat. In this endeavor, there is no loss or diminution, and a little advancement on this path can protect one from most dangerous type of fear. Devotional service is so pure and perfect that once having begun, one is forcibly dragged to ultimate success. Sometimes a person will give up his ordinary material engagements and out of sentiment take shelter of the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord and thus begin the preliminary execution of devotional service. Even if such an immature attempt Even if such an immature devotee falls down, there is no loss on his part. On the other hand, what is the gain of one who executes the prescribed duties according to his varna and ashrama, but does not take to devotional service? Although a fallen devotee may take his next birth in a low family, his devotional service will nonetheless resume from where it left off. Devotional service is ahituki apratihata. It is not the effect of any mundane cause, nor can it be terminated by any material interruption. Therefore, a devotee should be confident about his engagement and should not be very interested in the activities of the karmis, gyanis, and yogis. Okay, how much more is left in this purport, Prabhu? Transit, Prabhu. Okay, beta. I'll finish it then. There are certainly many good qualities among fruitive actors, philosophical speculators, and mystic yogis, but all good qualities automatically develop in the character of a devotee. No extraneous endeavor is needed, as confirmed by Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 5, Chapter 18, verse 12. All the good qualities of the demigods manifest progressively in one who has developed pure devotional service. Because a devotee is not interested in any material activity, he does not become materially contaminated. He is immediately situated on the platform of transcendental life. However, one who engages in mundane activity, be he a so called Gyani, Yogi, Karmi, philanthropist, nationalist, or whatever, cannot attain the highest stage of Mahatma. He remains a Duratma or cripple minded person. According to Bhagavad Gita 9:13, Mahatmanastu mam partha daivim prakritimashita bhajantyanyanya manaso gyatva bhuta dimapyayam. O son of Pritha, those who are not deluded, the great souls, are under the protection of the divine nature. They are fully engaged in devotional service because they know me as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, original and inexhaustible. Since all the devotees of the Lord are under the protection of His supreme potency, they should not deviate from the path of devotional service and take to the path of the karmi, jnani, or yogi. This is called utsaha nischayat dhairyat tatat karma pravartanat. Enthusiastically executing the regulative activities of devotional service with patience and confidence. In this way, one can advance in devotional service without hindrance. Hari Bol. Jai Shri Prabhupada.
Ribol, thank you so much, Prabhu. Subham Prabhu, you want to read?
No, Prabhu, I'm not feeling good, Prabhu.
Okay, yes, Prabhu. It's okay. Okay, Haribol. I think we can then read the six Astakam prayers and start this.
Okay, Prabhu, I can read some, but not full.
Yes, Prabhu, you can read as many as you can. We don't
Yeah.
need to need the full now. Maybe it's like 2 or 3, something like that.
Yes, Prabhu.
Thank you so much, Prabhu.
ददाति प्रतिगृह्णाति उभयमाख्याति पृच्छति मुङ्क्ते भोज्यते चैव तद्विधं वेति लक्षणम् नोनिं ददाति gives charity प्रतिगृह्णाति accept in return guhyam confidential topics akhyati explains Prakshati inquiries, Bhumte eats, Hoyate feeds, Cha also Eva suddenly Satvidham, six kinds, Priti Aplab Lakshanam, symptoms, translation, offering gifts in charity, accepting charitable gifts, scroll, revealing one's mind in confidence, inquiring confidentially, accepting prasad and offering prasad are the six symptoms of love shared by one devotee and another. Purport. In this verse, Sri Rupa Goswami explains how to perform devotional service activities in the association of other devotees. There are 6 kinds of activities: giving charity to devotees, accepting from devotees whatever they may offer in return, opening one's mind to the devotees, inquiring from them about the confidential service of the Lord, honoring prasada or spiritual food given by devotees, and feeding the devotees with prasada. And devotees learn from an experienced devotee explain, and an inexperienced devotee learns from him. This is Guhyamakhya Prikshati. Devotee distribute prasada, remnants of food offered to Supreme Personality of Godhead. In order to maintain our spirit of devotional service, we must accept this Father as the Lord's grace received through the pure devotees. We should also invite pure devotees to our home, offer them prasada, and be prepared to please them in all respect. This is called Bhunte Bhojate Chaiva. Thank you, Prabhu. Prabhu, you can read now.
Report Pranjal Prabhu. Wait 1 second. Okay, thank you so much, Prabhu. Thank you, Pranjal Prabhu, for scrolling, and Chubam Prabhu for reading. Okay, let's see. Okay, we'll read few pages. Even in ordinary social activities, these 6 types of dealings between two loving friends are absolutely necessary. For instance, when one businessman wishes to contact another businessman, he arranges a feast in a hotel, and over the feast openly expresses what he wishes to do. He then inquires from his business friend how he should act, and sometimes presents are exchanged. Thus, whenever there is a dealing of priti or love in intimate dealings, these 6 activities are executed. In the previous verse, Srila Rupa Goswami advised that one should renounce worldly association and keep company with the devotees, Sangatyaga Sato Vritte. The International Society for Krishna Consciousness has been established to facilitate these 6 kinds of loving exchanges between devotees. The society was started single-handedly, but because people are coming forward and dealing with the give and take policy, the society is now expanding all over the world. We are glad that people are donating very liberally to the development of society's activities, and people are also eagerly accepting whatever humble contribution we are giving. We are giving them in the shape who are giving in the shape of books and magazines dealing strictly with the subject matter of Krishna consciousness. We sometimes hold Hare Krishna festivals and invite life members and friends to participate in the feasting by accepting prasad. Although most of our members come from the higher ranks of society, they nonetheless come and take whatever little prasad we are able to offer them. Sometimes the members and supporters inquire very confidentially about the methods of performing devotional service, and we try to explain this. In this way, our society is successfully spreading all over the world, and the intelligentsia of all countries is gradually appreciating our Krishna conscious activities. The life of Krishna conscious society is nourished by these 6 types of loving exchanges among the members. Therefore, people must be given the chance to associate with the devotees of ISKCON, because simply by reciprocating in the 6 ways, mentioned above, an ordinary man can fully revive his dormant Krishna consciousness. In Bhagavad Gita 262, it is stated Sangat Sanjate Kama. One's desires and ambitions develop according to the company one keeps. It is often said that a man is known by his company, and if an ordinary man associates with devotees, he will certainly develop his dormant Krishna consciousness. The understanding of Krishna consciousness is innate in every living entity, and it is already developed to some extent when the living entity takes a human body. It is said in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Lila 22:107. Nitya Siddha Krishna Prema Sadyaka Bunaya Shravanadi Shuddha Chitte Karaye Udaya. Pure love for Krishna is eternally established in the hearts of living entities. It is not something to be gained from another source. When the heart is purified by hearing and chanting, the living entity naturally awakens. Since Since Krishna consciousness is inherent in every living entity, everyone should be given a chance to hear about Krishna. Simply by hearing and chanting Shravanam Kirtanam, one's heart is directly purified, and one's original Krishna consciousness is immediately awakened. Krishna consciousness is not artificially imposed upon the heart, it is already there. When one chants the holy name of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the heart is cleansed of all mundane contamination. In the first stanza of his Sri Sikshastaka, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, okay, now we go to Sikshastakam prayer since it came here.
Haribol.
Haribol. Cheto darpanamarjanam bhavamahadavagninirvapanam Shreyah Kairavachandrika Vitaranam Vidyavadu Jivanam Anandam Buddhivardhanam Pratipadam Purnamritasvadanam Sarvatma Snapanam Param Vijayate Sri Krishna Sankirtanam.
नाम नाम कार्य भक्तानि सर्वशक्ति तत्रात्मदान्यमित स्मरणेन कालः एतादृशी तो कृपा भगवान् मम पे दुर्दैव मे दिस्मिहाजन्यानुरागा
ऋणादपि सुनीचेन तरोरपि सहिष्णुना अमानिना मानतेन कीर्तनीय सदा हरि
नंदनम न जनम न सुंदरीम कविताम मां जगदीश कामये मुजन्मनि जन्मनि ईश्वरे भवताद भक्ति रहे तो गीतई
हैनन्दतनुजा किङ्करं पतितं मां विषमे भवाम्बुधौ कृपया तव पादपङ्कज स्थित स्थितधूलिसदृशं विचिन्तया
नयन
नयनं गलदश्रुधारया वदनं गद्गदरुद्धया गिरा पुलकैर्निशितं वपु कदा तव नाम ग्रहणे भविष्यति
युगायितं निमेषेण चक्षुषा प्रावसायितं शून्यायितं जगत् सर्वं गोविन्द विरहेण मे
अश्लिष्य वा पादरतां पिनष्टु माम् अदर्शनान् मर्महतां करोतु वा यथा तथा वा विधातु लम्पतो मत्प्राणनाथस्तु स एव नापरः. Glory to the Sri Krishna Sankirtan, which cleanses the heart of all the dust accumulated for years and extinguishes the fire of conditional life of repeated birth and death. The Sankirtan movement is the prime benediction for humanity at large because it spreads the rays of the benediction moon. It is the life of all transcendental knowledge. It increases the ocean of transcendental bliss and it enables us to fully taste the nectar for which we are always anxious.
O my Lord, your holy name alone can render all benediction to living beings, and thus you have hundreds and millions of names like Krishna and Govinda in these transcendental names. You have invested all your transcendental energies. There are not even hard and fast rules for chanting this name, O my Lord, out of kindness to enable us to easily approach you by your holy name. But I am so unfortunate that I have no attraction for them.
One should chant the holy name of the Lord in a humble state of mind, thinking oneself lower than the straw in the street. One should be more tolerant than a tree, devoid of all sense of false prestige, and should be ready to offer all respect to others. In such a state of mind, one can chant the holy name of the Lord constantly.
Almighty Lord, I am not desired to accumulate wealth, nor do I desire beautiful women, nor do I want a number of followers. I only want your causeless devotional service, birth after birth.
O son of Maharaj Nanda Krishna, I am your eternal servitor that somehow or other I have fallen into the ocean of birth and death. Please pick me up from this ocean of death and place me as one of the atoms at your lotus feet.
O my Lord, when will my eyes be decorated with tears of love flowing constantly when I chant your holy name? When will my voice choke up, and when will the hairs of my body stand on end at the recitation of your name?
O Govinda, feeling your repression, I am considering a moment to be like 12 years or more. Tears are flowing from my eyes like torrents of rains, and I am feeling all vacant in the world in your absence.
I know no one but Krishna as my Lord, and he shall remain so even if he handles me roughly by his embrace or makes me broken-hearted by not being present before me. He is completely free to do anything and everything, for he is always my worshipful Lord, unconditionally. Haribol, Sri Siksastakam Ki Jai.
Yeah.
Okay.
Uh,
Bahujanma Kareyadi Shavana Kirtan Tabutana Paya Krishna Pade Premadan. If one is infested with the 10 offenses in the chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, despite his endeavor to chant the holy name for many birds, he will not get the love of God. That is the ultimate goal of this chanting. Then the 10 offenses. First offense, to blaspheme the devotees who have dedicated their lives for propagating the holy name of the Lord.
Second offense is to consider the names of demigods like Lord Shiva or Lord Brahma to be equal or independent of the name of the Lord Vishnu.
Third offense to disobey the order of the spiritual master.
Fourth offense is to blaspheme the Vedic literatures or literature in persons to the Vedic version.
Fifth offense to consider the glories of chanting Hare Krishna to be imagination. Sixth offense to give some interpretation on the holy name of the Lord.
Seventh offense is to commit sinful activities on the strength of the holy name of the Lord.
Eighth offense to consider chanting of Hare Krishna one of the auspicious ritualistic activities offered in the Vedas as productive activities karmakanda.
Ninth offense is to instruct a faithless person about the glories of the holy name.
To not have complete faith in the chanting of the holy name and to maintain material attachments even after understanding so many instructions on this matter. It is also an offense to be inattentive while chanting. Every devotee who claims to be a Vaishnava must guard against these offenses in order to quickly achieve the desired success. Krishna Prema.
On
Panchakalpatarupyashta
the
Kripasindhubhya
past in the day of the
Vaishnava. Let us offer,
Vaishnava.
our humble obeisances unto all the Vaishnava devotees of the Lord. They can fulfill the desires of everyone just like these are trees, and they are full of compassion for the fallen souls. Haribol.
We
Glory to Krishna Prabhupada.
All the Lord Pranam Prabhu.
Thank you so much
All
for
Prabhu.
thank you very much, Prabhu, Sami Prabhu. Thank you very much, Panjal Prabhu. Thank you very much, Shivam Prabhu, for your kind association.
I just read the craziest thing I've ever seen. I want to show this. This person says in YouTube comments 15 minutes ago, It's a meat eating video. He comments, I'm a devotee of Krishna. I'm not a vegetarian. It is very clear that these vegetarian diets are not very good for mankind. We are physically designed to consume animals and are at our strongest and most vital when we do. That being said, factory farms and atrocious and should be banned entirely. Fast food. Family farms are the ways, vegetarian or not. Hare Krishna. I've never heard this before. That there's
Krishna. So are they killing animals in their family farm?
yes, Prabhu.
My,
Like what is
my.
this? Is how
The
this is the
craziest thing, are they offering it to Krishna or what?
yes, Prabhu. I don't understand what is going on.
My,
How something like this can be. The first
how
two
crazy that
sentences.
must be.
He says, "I'm a devotee of Krishna. I'm not a vegetarian." It's like
Oxymorons.
YouTube just gets
My,
crazier every day.
definitely, bro.
Thank you so much for your association, Prabhu. Now I need to
Thank
do
you.
the
Thank
dishes.
you.
Aisha,
Sure,
Prabhu.
sure, bro.